not drama, they are not apparent. His all activities are factually happening at the level of great affection and emotion. It is not just drama like outside people act. No, it's not like that. So that's how it is about karma of Krishna. Then Janma of Krishna. Such pastimes of Krishna will be relished only when Krishna appears in this world. Otherwise, it is not possible. So, but different people say different reasons that Krishna appeared, but the main reason is Shavana Smarana Arhani, to give us who are suffering in the material world an object of discussion. Because we have so many objects of discussion in this world, and which give only suffering and continued suffering and nothing else. Avidya, kama, karma. But when we change the object of discussion, object of meditation, object of contemplation, that's why you come and perform pastime. That's the reason. That is text 35. In text 36, beautiful verse. Shunvanti, Gayanti, Grananti, Abhikshna Sahityadi, where it is told what is the result of it. Result of it is Taeva Pashyanti. 100% those people who are engaged in these activities, beginning with hearing, singing, chanting, and appreciating, Nandanti, facilitating, and remember, they will surely attain, they will surely see the lotus feet of Krishna. Not others. Only these people will see lotus feet. They will only see Achirena. They will quickly see, not after long time. They will see Tavakam eva pashyati. They will see Krishna only, not any other incarnation. Tavakam pashyati eva. And they will see Krishna's lotus feet, not Brahma. So like that, Ta eva word is there, very beautifully, very emphatically telling the result of Krishna Prem, which one can attain by practicing these processes of Shravanam, Kirtanam, etc. 36. And then 37 onwards, she said that now you are going is inappropriate, my Lord. We are completely dependent on you. What is our fame and what is our influence? What are our skills? Nothing exists if you are not there. It is like our soul goes away from the senses. Then what is use of the best of the senses in this world? So that's why she says in text 27, very beautiful word, Apyasyanastvam Swakrute Hita Prabhu, etc. And then now, and then she expresses the power of, then after speaking those two verses, that we are non-entities without you. Kevayam nama rupabhyam yaduvecha pandava. So we are non-entities practically. So there is no question of becoming proud. So Prabhupada very beautifully explains there that how we are fully engaged in Krishna's service with all our skills and abilities, but there is complete dependence on Krishna. There is no tinge of doership or pride in that. So there is no laziness and there is no pride. Fully engaged in Krishna's service, exclusively dedicated, exclusively devoted and dependent on Krishna. And then Krishna's glance and Krishna's lotus feet touch. So that's how text 40. Now, having said that, 41 to 43. So 41 verse is a verse which says that please cut my ties of affection. And that is 41st verse. Why she is saying, we'll see that. Then 42nd verse is her own desire. The positive desire, what she wants. That single pointed full flow of mind towards Krishna. Tvai me ananya vishaya matir madhupate sakrut ratim udvahata madha gangi vavugam udanvati. Just like the other Ganges flows, let my mind flow towards you and only you. And the 43rd verse, she ends up in Nama Sankirtan, expressing actually that the attachment and affection for Krishna includes attachment and affection towards devotees also. So it's very interestingly, she is putting these three verses. First verse, 41st verse, she is trying to tell that please cut ties. And in 43rd verse, if you see, Krishna's names are there. And all Krishna's names are all related to his devotees. So with such a single pointed devotion, she is ending her desire, expressing her desire to Krishna. So let us go to text 41. A beautiful verse, so you can recite with me. Atha Vishvesha Vishwatman Vishwamurte Swakeshu me Sneha Pashamimam Sindhi Tridham Pandushu Vrashnishu. Yeah, please read the translation from the book. Or should I read? Anyone?
O Lord of the universe, soul of the universe, O personality of the form of the universe, please therefore sever my tie of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis.
Yeah. So see, this verse begins with Atha. So in Bhagavatam, wherever Atha word comes, we have to understand therefore. Means something very important is coming here now. Conclusion is coming, or something very essential aspiration is coming in a particular context or particular talk, particular teaching. Atha. So Atha, therefore, Hey Vishvesh, Hey Vishwatman, Hey Vishwamurti. So three characteristics, three adjectives are used for Krishna. Why? We will see that. Vishvesh means he is controller of each and every person in this world. He is the one by whose control people come together and people go away because of him or his system of karma. So Vishvesha is controller of the world and each and every living entity within the world. So that is the first. Vishwatman. So he is the antaryami of every living entity. Vishwamurti means he is the form of the universe. So he is actually greatly merciful to entire universe. So like that, these three adjectives are for Krishna. Why they are used, we'll see. See, he's saying Swakeshu Sneha Pasham Imam. Imam means she is like kind of showing Imam means this. Right now, my thinking is getting stretched between two parties. So you cut that. What is being stretched? Imam means this. So this means these feelings of great affection are awakening in her heart for two parties. Like generally, any Mataji, she will be connected with two families actually. The family which she was raised, like Kunti Maharani was raised in Yadus, her Vasudev was brother, and they all raised her. So she has great affection and love for all of them. So that is Vrishnis. They are in Dwarka. So they are also all devotees of the Lord. So she is thinking that now you are going, they will be happy. But here, Pandavas, they are my family after marriage. But they will be unhappy when you go there. So like that, and they are also devotees. So her affection is towards both of them, naturally. So she is saying, Imam means, see my Lord, I am thinking about welfare of all of them. If you go, the Dwarkavasis will be happy. But Pandavas will be unhappy. And if you don't go, Pandavas will be happy and Vishnus will be unhappy. So I don't want to die with such thoughts in my mind about my bodily relationship. Okay? So she is saying here that this Neha Pash you cut. Swakeshu. Swakeshu means my own people, like kinsman, right? What Prabhupada translates? Swakeshu is unto my own. My own means what? She is referring here to them as the bodily connection. Through her body, her connection is before the marriage and after the marriage. So you cut that part, man. Like that she is saying. And why she is using these three adjectives is because this bodily relationships or bodily affection or familial affection is extremely deep, and it can be cut only by the Supreme Lord. He is capable of cutting the family affection because he is Vishwes. He is controlling all living entities. And where is this Sneha Pash? Where is the affection? It is there in the heart. So in the heart, Krishna is there as Paramatma. Krishna is capable of cutting that affection, and no one else in this world. And Vishwamurti means actually you are very attentive to maintain your devotees. Your quality is Krutadnya. Krutadnya means Sharanagata Palaka Abhigya. So Vrishnis are your devotees, Pandus are your devotees. So you are capable, you are attentive to their maintenance and love and affection. So why I should worry about it? So you are fully capable of cutting this familial affection which is there in my heart. So please cut that, my Lord. That's her emotion in this particular verse. So that's how she is using such words here in this verse, Vishvatma. So her cutting here, Sneha Pash, is completely on the Swakeshu, means my own, means relation with the body. So that part she is telling to cut. So let us see what Prabhupada says here in this particular purport. So initially Prabhupada says that pure devotee of Lord is ashamed to ask anything in self-interest from the Lord. But the householders are sometimes obliged to ask favors from the Lord, being bound by the tie of family affection. So Prabhupada is being very practical here and saying that, occasionally because of something, there is a feeling of asking for favor of the Lord. But they do that with great shame. Right? So that is the purity of his devotion. Right? So Krishna was equally related with both families. Both families required Lord's help because both were attendant devotees of Lord. So Vrishnis and Pandava, both are that. All this, Srimati Kunti Devi here wished Krishna to remain with her son. By his doing so, her parental house will be bereft of the benefit. So I said all this. All these partialities troubled the mind of Kunti. Therefore, she desired to cut off the affectionate tie. A pure devotee cuts off the limited ties of affection for his family and widens his activities of devotional service for forgotten souls. So this is a brilliant perspective which Prabhupada gives here, actually, that cutting the knot doesn't mean cutting, it is rather becoming more available for bigger family. That's what Prabhupada brilliantly brings out. No other Acharya says this. To cut off family affection means to broaden the field of activities. So Prabhupada himself did that actually, with strong actions in one sense. So that's the point being said here. Without doing this, no one can be qualified as a Brahmana, a king, a public leader, or a devotee of Lord. So he is telling that all kinds of levels of leaders need this kind of cutting. So otherwise, the selfishness will come in through these knots. So that's why Prabhupada is specifically saying here. So actually, this is a factual renunciation in spirit, not in form. So in form, someone can be wearing like this, the saffron, but that is in form. But the substance of renunciation is this, that our family becomes Vasudha Eva Kutumbaka. Ayam, what is that verse? In Hitopadesh, there is one verse. No? What is that? Ayam nija parovetti ganana laghuchetas. Udara vicharate vasudha eva kutumbam. That's what Prabhupada is telling here. So, such personalities as Brahmana, a devotee, a king, or public leader must be very broad-minded in discharging their respective duties. So, we have examples of Lord Ram, actually. He is taking up the role of Raja to be more important than role of Pati, right? So, that's what actually is being said here. His duty. So, towards last, Prabhupada's comments about the ability of Krishna to cut the family ties. So can you please read this last part? Agree?
His all-powerful ability to cut the hard knot of family affection, Vishwatmana. Therefore, it is sometimes experienced that the Lord, out of his special affinity towards a weak devotee, breaks the family affection by force of circumstances, arranged by his all-powerful energy. By doing so, he causes the devotee to become completely dependent on him and thus clears the path for his going back to Godhead.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. So here Prabhupada is bringing out another point that Lord sometimes, in case of devotee, he takes away yasyaham anugrunnami harishyetat dhanam, just to make the devotee more dependent on Lord exclusively. So Prabhupada in his own life, there was burning of his factory. So he could remember this and he was laughing. And when he was in Vrindavan, he was reflecting back and on the family members, relatives, etc. So he, being a Grihastha, he did all his responsible work along with serving his spiritual master. But when he was in Vrindavan in Vanprastha, that time he was remembering relatives, and in his song he writes that all these people are nothing but list of names. So that is what is Prabhupada's perception towards the bodily relationship with people in this world. Right? But that does not mean that a person becomes hard-hearted. Right? So we have the example of Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur. One disciple came that, my wife died and there was not a single tear in my eyes. So I want to now renounce entire thing. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati says, if you cannot cry for your wife, then how can you cry for Krishna? Like that. So it is not about, cutting means becoming hard-hearted. No. Cutting here means connecting with Krishna exclusively. And through Krishna, you connect with everyone, including the family members. That's the point here. So it will come in the next verses, but this is what is actually what Prabhupada says, that to cut the family affection means to broaden the field of activity. The affection doesn't remain only for the particular family which is connected to body, but it goes beyond that. So this is something which Prabhupada is very amazingly telling here. So when we say broad-minded, broad-mindedness is told in Bhagavad Gita also. Mahatmanas tumam partha daivim prakritim asha. So Mahatma means his mind is very deepened and broadened by understanding and serving Krishna exclusively. Because Krishna is most broadest and deepest personality, and he has affection for everyone. So person who loves Krishna has also the same thing. That is called broad-mindedness. He is able to have no selective affection in that sense. Yatra sarvatra anabhisnehas. Where he gets favors, he doesn't show special affection, and where he gets hate, he doesn't show hatred. No dvesh, no abhinandanti. That's what Krishna says. Yes, sarvatra anabhisnehas. Tatrat prapya shubha ashubham. Nabhinandanti na dveshti tasya pradnya pratishthitam. So a person who gets favor from a material perspective, he doesn't become, he doesn't appreciate them, becomes happy with him. And those who criticize him, blaspheme him, disrespect him, he doesn't become hateful towards him. But he has general affection for everyone. Like that. So Prabhupada is telling that, expressing Kunti Maharani's specific feeling here in terms of the practicing devotee also. So having heard this, actually Krishna starts telling her, my dear Kunti Maharani, you are saying that I should cut your family ties with Yadus and Pandavas. So I am also one of the Yadus. So you want to cut tie with me also? And you want to enter in Brahman? Like that Vishwanath Chakra Thakur says. Because I am also Yadu. And you want to cut tie with me also? Because as you said that. So you want to enter into Brahman or what? Because Yadus are my devotees and Pandavas are my devotees, and you want to cut tie with them, and I am also Yadu. Tie with me means what? You want to enter into Brahman? She says, no, my lord, that's not my feeling. What I want is this. That's how she replies in this particular verse. A very, very beautiful verse, which is a positive aspect of what she said before, right? Which is the more, what is her actual desire is this. So let us recite together. Tvayimena nanya vishaya matir madhupate sakrut rate mudvahata amadha gauge gange vaugham udanvati. Please read the translation.
Translation. O Lord of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else.
Yeah. Tvayi me ananya vishaya. Tvayi means in you. But ananya vishaya qualifies that, means nothing else. Only you. Mati. My mind. Madhupate. Hey Madhupate. O Lord of Madhu. Asakrut. Means constantly. Not at some times when I am worshipping, sometimes I am doing devotion. No, constantly. And not just mind, but mind with rati. Rati udvahatat. Flow of the mind towards you. Directly. Adha is directly overflow. So she is not just saying just very simply flow. No. Overflow. And she is giving a analogy of flow of Mother Ganges. Ganga iva ogham udanvati. How Ganges flows towards the ocean. Similarly, let my mind flow towards you. So, this is how she is telling that, my dear Lord, let my affection and prema and flow of my mind to go to you and only you and no one else. That's the point. So, she is answering here Krishna's apparent doubt that, what you want to cut that also. So what does this mean actually? So as I said, that previous verse is speaking about cutting off the material component of relationship with family men. So she doesn't want to cut the devotional part of affection. So that's what is the essential lesson in this. So Prabhupada says that, we'll discuss. Yeah, please read this. Pure perfection.
Perfection of pure devotional service is attained when all attention is diverted towards the transcendental loving service of the Lord. To cut off the tie of all other affections does not mean complete negation of the finer elements like affection for someone else. This is not possible. A living being, whoever he may be, must have this feeling of affection for others because this is a symptom of life. The symptom of life, such as desire, anger, hankering, feeling of attraction, etc., cannot be annihilated. Only the objective has to be changed. Desire cannot be negated, but in devotional service, the desire is changed only for the service of the Lord in place of desire for sense gratification. The so-called affection for family, society, country, etc. consists of different phases of sense gratification. When this desire is changed for the satisfaction of the Lord, it is called as a devotional service.
Yeah. So see, Prabhupada first is going apparently against what Kunti Maharani said. That it is not possible, complete, it is does not mean complete negation affection for someone else, but rather she is saying only you, but Prabhupada saying no. What does that mean is that this feeling will be there for others also, but it has to be through objective of Krishna. That's what actually is the point told by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also, that he is telling that, my dear Lord, I know that your devotees are not different than you. And affection for them as devotees will naturally reflect in affection for you, and vice versa. So that I know, my Lord, but what I want you to cut is the way I see through the material connection through my body, that you cut. So first let me see Arjuna as your devotee, your friend, and then okay, he is your devotee, my affection is because of that, and he is my son. So that's what is her desire, that let me think Yadus to be your devotees first, then my people. So that way, let me see them. So that is the ideal way of connecting with everyone in this world and having affection through Krishna. So Prabhupada very brilliantly explains in this purport. In the rest of the purport you can see. So he gives example of Arjuna itself, that Arjuna was refused to fight with his brothers due to relations only, right? Even if they are ignorant, I am not ignorant. So I will get killed, but I will not kill them. My gurus, my brothers, my Pita, Prapita, all this. So Prabhupada says, no, Arjuna followed Krishna's order. And what happened? Yeah, please read this. The fighting.
The fighting was there, the friendship was there, Arjuna was there, and Krishna was there, but Arjuna became a different person by devotional service. Therefore, the prayers of Kunti also indicate the same categorical change in activities. Srimati Kunti wanted to serve the Lord without diversion, and that was her prayer. This unalloyed devotion is the ultimate goal of life. Um, our attention is usually diverted to the service of something which is non-godly or not in the program of the Lord. When the program is changed into the service of the Lord, that is to say, when the senses are purified in relation with the service of the Lord, it is called pure unalloyed devotional service. Srimati Kunti Devi wanted that perfection and prayed for it from the Lord.
Yeah, so Prabhupada gives a brilliant example of Bhagavad Gita saying that, see, nothing changed. The only thing is his perception changed. Why he is doing what he is doing, right? So that's what Prabhupada is saying. Not that we have to give up the things, but we have to see things in a proper perspective in Krishna conscious way and deal with it accordingly. That's what this Prabhupada is saying here. That say categorical changes in activities. That's the thing of consciousness. That let me see them through connection with you as your devotees first, then my sons first, then my fathers first, etc. So this is called unalloyed devotion. The attraction of soul to soul without connection with Krishna is material, but through connection with Krishna is spiritual and eternal. Because soul to soul attraction is material and it's temporary, right? So that's how it becomes unalloyed devotion, if it is through Krishna. That's why actually love for Krishna, Prabhupada says that it is like love Krishna, love all. So that is the only way to actually love everyone, because Krishna loves everyone. So this program has to be changed. How we do that? This purifying senses, and Prabhupada uses this word here, pure unalloyed devotional service. So this is nothing but the devotional service of Vrindavan Dham. So pure means there is no Anna Vilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. But unalloyed is where the Aishwarya Gyan is also removed. That is Vrindavan, like Yashoda we discussed earlier. So this is called pure unalloyed devotional service. So Kunti Maharani is praying for it. Because this internal deeper attachments will be only cut or cleansed by only Krishna and no one else. Like in Bhagavatam, there are many places you hear that, Krishna through the katha and a name coming from a pure source, pure devotee, enters through the ears and in the heart, and he cleanses the heart. So that deeper cleaning of heart can be done only and only by Krishna and no one else. So that's what is many places spoken in Bhagavatam. So she is personally telling Krishna that you are capable because you are there as Antaryami, so you can cut them. So you cut the part which is bodily affection. That's what I desire. So she is saying that, my dear Lord, since it is a prayer in front of you, it means only cutting only the material affection which arises from bodily identification. It is not cutting the affection relation with you, because I am telling you only, no? So I want to cut that affection which causes bondage. So that is bodily affection. So actually this neha or bodily affection is something, as I was telling, it's very deep, and it is something which actually, as Kunti Maharani is Vyakul, here word is used by Acharyas, she's become Vyakul, she's become distressed by thinking about Pandus and Vishnu. So actually because of familial affection, the mind is always in anxiety or concern about thinking about these people, their concerns, their welfare. So whole mental energy goes in thinking about that. Then how can that same mind be engaged in Krishna service? So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is demanding only one thing actually, ultimately. In 18.65-66, what is telling? Man mana bhava mad bhakto ityadi, which comes twice in Bhagavad Gita, right? So first Krishna is asking, rather the highest thing is, give me your mind, that's all. So means don't give your mind to anyone else. Only me. Mayi eva man adhatsva. But if you cannot do that, mayi buddhim niveshaya. If you cannot do that, then next verse, engage in my service. Mayi buddhim niveshaya. Nivashisyasi mayi eva ata urdhvana samshaya. But if you cannot do that, then do as practice devotional service, the regulative principles, 64 limbs of bhakti. So that is, so man mana mad bhakto is that. Practice abhyas rup bhakti. If one cannot do that also, then at least man mana bhava mad ji, at least you do worship of me. If you are not able to do 64 angas, at least you worship me. Act for my pleasure. Try to act out. You cannot do that also. There is laziness in doing that. At least come and offer obeisance. So like that also is the meaning. So basically, ultimately, Krishna is asking, giving mind to me. And in this world, because of the bodily consciousness and aham and mama, the sneha consumes our consciousness to think about the kinsmen. And thinking about them is not wrong. But how we think about them through connection with Krishna is what is here stated in Kunti Maharani. That categorical changes means seeing them in a proper perspective of Krishna consciousness. Not seeing our kinsman as our kinsman first and then devotee. No. First we see them as Vaishnavas and then we see them as my son, my mother, my father, or my wife, or my husband. Okay, so that is later. First he is a Vaishnava, if he is a Vaishnava. First he is a Vaishnava. So that's how I think my spiritual master, when devotees go for taking blessings of Grihastha Ashrama, entering into that. So he says that he tells the husband that, don't consider your wife as your maid servant. She is Krishna's maid servant and she is Vaishnava. And you protect her, facilitate her devotional service. And he tells wife similar that he and he is not just a supplier of things. No? He is a Vaishnava and you see him like that and remain subordinate to him like that. So basically keep divine couple in the couple like that he says. Means seeing through Krishna that she is Vaishnava, he is Vaishnava. So let us facilitate our devotional service rather than becoming bodily dependent, attached. So this applies to all relations, mother, father, children, son. Naturally, that sneha will be there, but it has to be acted upon. Kunti Devi is teaching us here that it has to be acted upon by some conscious endeavors from our side. Because we say, the blood relations are very thick, very, very thick. And we see in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes very strikingly that Srivas Thakur's son died. And what was his feeling actually? He didn't even, rather he apparently became angry at the crying which was disturbing the kirtan of Lord Chaitanya. And then Lord Chaitanya told him, after a few hours, Lord Chaitanya came to know through other devotees. That is the level of Srivas Thakur's consciousness. So that is one example, another example. So like that, there are many. So this, I think I already explained to you. But so serving devotee is more valuable than service to the Lord. So that this tie of affection in terms of material relation is in the relation of Maya, because the relations of body or the mind are due to influence of external energy. Relations of the soul established in relation with Supreme Soul are factual relations. Are factual, means others are temporary. When Kunti Devi wanted to cut off family relation, she meant to cut off the relation of the skin. The skin relation is the cause of material bondage, but the relation of the soul is the cause of freedom. So it's completely opposite. This relation of the soul to the soul can be established by via medium of relation with Super Soul. Seeing in the darkness, not seeing, but seeing by the light of sun means seeing the sun and everything else which was unseen in darkness. That is the way of devotional service. So Prabhupada concludes this with a very unique analogy of vision of a person. So this verse is telling her desire. And now in the next verse, she beautifully prays to Krishna in Nam Sankirtan. But names are all connected with devotees, including Arjuna. Just now she told Kat, now she is remembering him as the friend of Krishna. So that is the text 43. Sri Krishna Krishna Sakha Vrishna Vishaya Bhavani Dhrik Rajanyavam Dahana Panaparga Virya Govinda Go Dvija Surarti Havavataraha Yogeshwaro Khila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Yeah, please read the translation.
O Krishna, O friend of Arjuna, O chief amongst the descendants of Vrishni, you are the destroyer of those political parties which are disturbing elements on this earth. Your prowess never deteriorates. You are the proprietor of the transcendental abode, and you descend to relieve the distresses of the cows, the brahmanas, and the devotees. You possess all mystic powers, and you are the preceptor of the entire universe. You are God, and I offer you my respectful obeisances.
Yeah. So you see, they are all names of Krishna in relation with his devotees. So what does that mean? Srila Jiva Goswami very beautiful says. He is summarizing these three verses and the emotions of her. So what he says, that rejecting the affection based on relationship with family members, even if they are devotees, praying for attachment to Lord, Shri recognizes affection for his dear devotees, since they have affection for him. So that was the 3 verses. Rejecting the affection based on relationship with family members, even if they are devotees. Praying for attachment to Lord in the previous verse. Now this verse, she recognizes the affection for his dear devotees, since they have affection for him. Means text 41 rejects the family attachments. Text 42 prays for attachment to Krishna. And text 43, she accepts affection for devotees. So that's the way actually the spiritual relationships are. So that's what is to be changed, right? So Prabhupada echoes what Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, that in this particular verse, the Lord is, Kunti Marne is summarizing how Lord is giver of happiness to everyone in this world. So was a summary. Everyone sarva sukha pradatva. And she is offering respect at the end, remembering the names of Krishna. So Prabhupada, because there are names of Krishna about Govinda, etc. So Prabhupada again establishes the cultural aspect of it, that cows, the brahmanas and the devotees of Lord are all objects of his special attention, because they are very important factors for general welfare also. So that's how this her prayers are ending in affection with devotees also, along with the Lord, right? So that's why we have to be very clear and careful in cultivating and increasing our affection, because affection is something which is quite internal thing, and it consumes the consciousness. It takes our toll of our consciousness to think, right? So it is said, I was hearing the lecture of His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj. So he was saying that देह का संबंध ही भगवत प्राप्ति के लिए बहुत बाधक होता है. So a great impediment actually to develop affection for Krishna. So we have to handle it with proper Krishna conscious engagement, without and within, both ways. As we discussed that, that we have to develop, we have to offer mind to Krishna. So mind means, heart means the place of affection. So it has to be devoted to Krishna. And through Krishna, it can go to others. So that's what actually is her desire of one-pointed affection to Krishna, and through Krishna to all other devotees of Krishna. So that's how this wonderful prayers are ending. So now we'll quickly complete the remaining part. Actually, it's already 3:30. Okay. So let us go ahead. Pruthayetham kalapadai parinuta khilodayah mandam jaha sabai kuntho mohayanniva mayaya. Please read the translation. Hare Krishna.
Sutta Goswami said, the Lord, thus hearing the prayers of Kunti Devi, composed in choice words for his glorification, mildly smiled. That smile was as enchanting as his mystic power.
Yeah. So as actually it's already 3:30, so I will little bit rush. These two verses are important. So I will mention few points and then we'll rush so that we can have some discussion regarding your exam or question answers, anything. So we'll go a little quicker now. So here is being told that Parinita Akhilodaya. So actually Sut Goswami here is glorifying the beautiful words of Kunti, which are depicting the amazing greatness of Krishna. Chosen words. Akhila Udayaha Parinita. Is glorifying. And she is telling, having glorified, he is telling response of the Supreme Lord. Mandam Yaha Savaikuntho. Lord Krishna simply smiled, that too very mildly. That's all. But this is the perfection of her prayers, that he pleased the Supreme Lord. and mohayan niva maya. So here maya means out of his mercy, out of his love. It was very captivating, the smile of the Lord. So that was the only response which Krishna gave, which satisfied Kunti Devi. Of course, Krishna, next verse, will get down from the chariot and go again into Hastinapur as a reciprocation of love. So Prabhupada in this purport takes on this point of enchanting, mandam jahasa vaikuntho. So he writes that anything that is enchanting in this world is said to be representation of Supreme Lord. So he's bringing out one point, yadyad vibhuti mat sattvam kimaturjitam eva. Anything beautiful, anything skillful, anything powerful, anything influential, if you see, it has to be in connect, it has to be seen as a splendor, spark of splendor of Krishna. The same thing is told in Chatushloki. Rite artham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatman. What is Maya? Maya is not there in the object. Maya is there in the conception and vision. So anything of this world seen as valuable without connection to Krishna is Maya. This is the core definition of Maya. That's what is given here by Srila Prabhupada. So Srimati Kunti Devi has prayed to Lord just to enunciate fragment of his glory. Parinita Akhilodaya. That is the fragment of his glory. So brilliant point Prabhupada writes that how Lord is happy. So who can glorify the Lord fully? No one can glorify actually, including Sankarshan. So if we offer little prayers like a child speaks some little words, broken linguistic attempts if child does, father becomes very happy. So Prabhupada is bringing out such a beautiful emotion of Lord, that Lord's glories are unlimited. His Aishwarya and everything is unlimited. But if we simply try to offer some prayers from heart, Lord becomes happy. Just like a father is satisfied even by broken linguistic attempts of growing child. So this is the merciful nature of the Lord, right? That's why mohayan iva maya. So Maya is used in the sense of Lord's mercy upon Kunti Devi. So otherwise, who can glorify Krishna fully? No one in this world. What happened afterwards? Tambadamiti upamantra pravishya gajasabhyam priyasya sapuram yasyam premna rajnya nivaritaha. Please read the translation.
Thus
accepting the
Hi Mataji, please read.
Go ahead.
Yeah, please read.
Please read.
Thus, accepting the prayers of Srimati Kunti Devi, the Lord subsequently informed the other ladies of his departure by entering the palace of Hastinapura. But upon preparing to leave, he was stopped by King Yudhishthira, who told him,
Rajna Premna Nivaritaha. Right? So Krishna, having entered Gajasabhyam, Pravish. So respecting love of Kunti Maharani, got down, again went, met everyone again. He took permission from ladies like Subhadra and Kunti and others that now can I go now? No, can you give me permission? So they gave permission. And he was about to go. But again what happened? So Striyascha Swapuram Yasya Premna Rajnya Nivarita. Now Yudhishthir Maharaj came, and Yudhishthir Maharaj, out of great love, said, Lord, my dear Lord, please wait for few more days. And because it was done out of love, so Lord again reciprocated with him. So Prabhupada comments on this as the Acharya. That how is it that Yudhishthir Maharaj's request Krishna is responding? Because of his greater affection. So he is saying, this signifies that the power of King Yudhishthir was his loving affection, which the Lord could not deny. He is fully independent and on all his dealings, but voluntarily accepts obligations by the loving affection of his pure devotees. Right? So we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so many pastimes. So he waited in Shantipur. He waited for Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya for 4-5 days more. But of course, he is Swatantra, so he left after that. And he could not go to Vrindavan. He was taking permission again and again. It was postponed. You go later. So this is great affection of Lord, and Lord being controlled by his devotee, although he is completely independent. So why did Krishna do what he did? This is a very key verse, very important verse. Vyachadye Ishwar ha adne Krishnen adbhuta karmana prabodhitopi itihasair na buddhyat shucharpitaha. Please read the translation.
King Yudhishthir, who was much aggravated, could not be convinced, despite instructions by great sages headed by Vyasa and Lord Krishna himself, the performer of superhuman feats, and despite all historical evidence.
Yeah. So what is happening here? Vyasyadir Ishwara Iha Adnya. Ishwara Iha means Lord's desire. So Vyasa and all other sages, they were knowing Krishna's desire. What was Krishna's desire? What was going in Krishna's mind? Krishna was thinking, there is one of my devotees who is lying on the arrow bed, and I want to glorify him. I want to make him happy. And he will become happy when he sees the Yudhishthir and Pandavas sitting on throne with great opulence. Simply seeing by that, he will be happy. Not only that, he will be happy and he will leave body only when he will see me. He is waiting for me to be seen. So I will personally go there. And I will make him happy by these activities. And not only that, let the whole world know the glory of my devotee who is Bhishma Pitamaha. So let Bhishma Pitamaha knowledge be known to entire world, because entire world thinks about him that he is on the adharmak side. What is his knowledge and what to speak of knowledge? In next chapter, you will see his depth of devotion. So Lord wanted to extol the glories of Bhishma Pitamaha and his oceanic knowledge and his multiple oceanic devotion, pure devotion to Krishna. So this was going in mind of Krishna. So he did what he did, Krishnena Adbhuta Karmana, the performer of remarkable action. Or Prabhupada says here that superhuman work, remarkable action. So Krishna is thinking all about his devotees here, to make them happy, to make, let everyone know the glory of my devotee. So what is this Adbhuta Karmana? Prabodhito api itihasai na buddhyat shucharpita. So even though Vyasa, Dhaumya and sages were trying to pacify Yudhishthir Maharaj, and Krishna personally tried to pacify Yudhishthir Maharaj. But Yudhishthir Maharaj, through speaking a lot of itihasas, because Yudhishthir Maharaj is not a sentimental, he is Dharmaraj. So they were quoting all the scriptures and itihas stories to convince him that, my dear Prabhu, you are not selfish, you are not at fault. It's all for dharma, establishment of dharma and will of the Lord. But he was na buddhyata, he was not getting convinced. So this is Krishnena Adbhut Karmana. He does, in one activity, he does multiple things for multiple devotees, right? So that's what is this particular verse speaking, that Yudhishthir Maharaj did not get, so his lamentation is next 6 verses, which will go quickly. So why is happening that? Because Krishna externally is trying to convince him that, my dear Yudhishthir Maharaj, you are not the cause of battle. You have not killed all these people. This is my will. And you know that I am Supreme Lord. But same Krishna, as Paramatma in his heart, was telling him, don't hear this. This is Krishnena Adbhut Karma. So that is what is Krishna's desire. So actually here, Srila Vishwanath Thakur says that actually Lord wanted to know that let Bhishma, his pure devotee, had more knowledge of dharma than Vyas, than other sages and even Krishna. That's what he wanted to show. but he wanted to pacify Yudhishthir through him. So this whole thing is showing that Yudhishthir has more love than Bhishma, because Lord waited because of request of Yudhishthir. Like, so Prabhupada writes all these things, that Yudhishthira was bewildered for killing Akshaunis. He was thinking because of me. So this already we discussed. So the interpretation is that Lord Ishvara, super soul in the hearts of King Yudhishthira and Vyas, performed still more supernal action because Lord desired it. The super soul served the Lord. As super soul of King Yudhishthira, he did not allow the king to be convinced by the words of Vyas, including himself, because he desired that the king hear the instructions from dying Bhishma Dev, who was another great devotee of him. Besides this, the Lord also desired that the king Yudhishthira be pacified by the words of Bhishma, so that the world could see Bhishma Dev excelled in all in knowledge, including Lord himself. So now, next verse is telling what he was bewildered. That is text 47. And then 48 to 53 is his speech. Right? So his loss of discrimination is described in text 47. But that loss of discrimination is not a karmi's loss of discrimination. This loss of discrimination is because of Lord's will, so it is temporary. Because Lord's will was there, that Mahabharat's most important section of Bhishma Pitamaha's teachings, where everything is taught, that should come out. Vishnu Sahasranam should come out, is Lord's will. And this is another thing which happened. So it's a temporary loss of discrimination. So which happened in case of Arjuna. So Bhagavad Gita came, and Parikshit Maharaj also, because Bhagavatam came. So he put the Kala and etc. So that's what is told. King, please read the translation. King Yudhishthira, son of Dharma, overwhelmed by the death of his friend, was aggrieved just like a common materialistic man. O sages, thus deluded by affection, he began to speak. Prakriti Atmana means just like an ordinary person. Means what? He was never ordinary person. He just acted like ordinary person. Yes? Hare Krishna, please mute yourself. And this happened because of Sneha Moshavasham. Because of his material affection, he was carried away. So this is all by will of Lord. So Prabhupada explains this. Like materialistic man, he thought. But a Kshatriya should always be ready to fight, without any cause, regardless of opposite party. So now he starts speaking from text 48 onwards. So please read the translation. One person can read. Right? Yeah.
King Yudhishthir said, "O my Lord, I am the most sinful man. Just see my heart, which is full of ignorance. This body, which is ultimately meant for others, has killed many phalanx of men.
Yeah. Oh me, alas, see how sinful I am. Ignorance, the sin is spreading in my heart, and just see what I have done. I have killed so many Akshaunis. That's how he's feeling. So Prabhupada explains what is meaning of Akshoni and the numbers and everything. So Maharaj Yudhishthira was the most pious king of the world. So he is taking the responsibility. Actually, he is not responsible. And then Parakya Buddhi, he says. The purpose of the body is meant for welfare of others. Text 49, please read the translation.
I have killed many boys, brahmanas, well-wishers, friends, parents, preceptors, and brothers. Though I live millions of years, I will not be relieved from the hell that awaits me for all these sins.
So, having said that I did killing, now he's anticipating a punishment also to go to hell. And, nothing can be said about it, This is all awaiting, anticipating the punishment actually. So this is the sign of a sincere person. When he commits mistake, he expects and he desires some punishment to be given. Mr. Maharaj is feeling like that. Text 50. Yeah, please read the translation.
There is no sin for a king who kills for the right cause, who is engaged in maintaining his citizens. But this injunction is not applicable to me.
Yeah, some sages said that, actually king who is Praja Bhartur, Dharma Yuddha. If he is maintaining his Praja, he can do Dharma Yuddha and he can kill people. So that is all right. What you are saying is okay. But that doesn't apply to me. Because Duryodhana was nicely ruling the kingdom. But I, for the sake of attaining the kingdom, I killed. I was not even a king, but I did. So this principle doesn't apply to me, which was said by the sages. This doesn't apply to me. Although it is true, but that is not for me. Text 51. Yes.
There is no sin for a king who kills for the right cause, who is engaged in maintaining his citizens.
Next verse. Next verse. I have killed. You can see here.
I have killed many friends of women, and I have thus caused enmity to such an extent that it is not possible to undo it by material welfare work.
Yeah. So, expecting the punishment, is saying that I cannot do anything, counter action kind of thing here. Vipohitum. Naham kalpo vipohitum. I cannot undo this because I have killed so many of soldiers whose women are all widows. So it is very, very heinous act I have done. Such enmity is created which will remain for generations. So I cannot counteract that by any action. So even someone says that if you do Ashwamedha Yajna, he thinks that no, even such yajnas are not possible to get relief from great sins that is committed by the friends and relatives of innocent women. Killing them, Ashwamedha Yajna also will not. And when they are killed, a fresh enmity created. Thus a chains of actions and reaction increases, which is not possible to be counteracted even by thousands of Ashwamedha Yajna. So till this time, Yudhishthira Maharaj is speaking something based on Shastra. And saying that, okay, these principles are there, but they don't apply to me like that. So next verse, he speaks something which is Shushka Tark, So this is laws of discrimination is there, but in that also there is no Shastra here. So this is the last verse which he speaks. After sages tell that, let us do Ashwamedha Yajna. If you think you have killed, you will do Ashwamedha Yajna and you can counteract all those things. So if they say that, he anticipating that he says this word. Yeah, please read the translation.
As it is not possible to filter muddy water through mud or purify a wine-stained pot with wine, it is not possible to counteract the killing of men by sacrificing animals.
Yeah, so they were saying that we will do Ashwamedha Gomedha Yajna. There also killing will happen, right? So by that killing, I cannot get rid of this killing of Akshoni. So this gross Pratyaksha Praman logic, which is called Shushka Tarka, which is illogical logic, because it is based not on anything other than Pratyaksha, not Shastra, is being spoken in this last verse. So Prabhupada takes the point of Yajna and glorifies Sankirtan Yajna. This time only Sankirtan Yajna is recommended by Chaitanya, so that has to be performed. So thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of first canto, 8th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Prayers of King Kunti and Parikshit Save. So actually I am supposed to end quite before, but we extended a little bit. So that's why I rushed through. So thank you very much. So now for the rest of the time, I would try to answer whatever is you need for your examination or anything regarding this unit or anything regarding what we discussed, basically. So you can raise your hands. So we will go have some discussion. I will try to have some discussion. Yes, sir. Shobha Lakshmi Mata, you want to say something?
Prabhuji, in this text 51,
Yeah.
in the Strinam Madhatam Bandhunam, so in the means word to word meaning it is of the women by me and then of the friends who are killed. But in the translation it is I have killed many friends of women. So which one is correct?
Yeah, actually, if we see the translation of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he takes it differently only. So, Strinam are the, oh, just a minute. Actually, it is injury inflicted to women whose husbands or sons I have killed by household rituals. So that is the translation given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, or based on his purport actually. Madhata bandhunam, right? That means, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, woman whose husbands I have killed. Okay? Strinam madhata bandhunam. So the meaning of this phrase is the woman whose husbands I have killed. So that Prabhupada is translating as friends of women. So we can say that it's like husbands of those women. I have killed husbands of women. Like that. So we can reconcile it. Husband is the best friend of the woman. That way we can understand. Yeah, Yashika Mataji, you have something to say?
Prabhuji, please elaborate a spiritual affection.
Spiritual affection, so which was explained in text 43, right? Tvai me ananya vishaya. 43 or 42 and 43 actually, right? So you are asking elaboration. So as in course of discussion, I was saying that the attachment is to be for Krishna. So the affection should be for Krishna. And it can be along with Krishna, in connection with Krishna, to others, the devotees of Krishna, to our family members and others. So this means that we are not only in activities doing Krishna conscious activities, but we are consciously doing it for Krishna. Because affection is something coming from heart. So that's why I quoted that verse of Man mana bhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namastu. So Krishna is actually asking for that one, right? So to reach there, because it's a very high stage, so you can read the 12th chapter Bhagavad Gita, verses 8 to 12. So Krishna is telling that anyone can come to this process. Anyone can come to this consciousness from wherever he is. So if he is very advanced, then he can directly fix mind on me. So that is 8th verse. If his mind is pure, then he can use his intelligence to bring the mind back to me. That is the using intelligence. If he cannot do that also, no problem. He can practice the 64 angas of bhakti, where the mind is quite impure. So abhyas sarup bhakti. If he cannot do that, then he can do gross actions of bhakti. Very, he can do activities like plucking flowers or like that, which even externally doing, may not be thinking so much about Krishna. But if you pluck flowers and give to Krishna, so like that there are levels wherever we are, and then Krishna says that every one of this will attain perfection. from 12.8 to 12, you can read that. So that's what is development of spiritual affection, gradually, wherever we are. We can be practicing internal senses bhakti, external senses bhakti, doesn't matter in one sense, because the process is bhakti and the goal is clear, man mana. So that way we can do. So that is some understanding, my limited understanding of what Kunti is saying here, that spiritual affection means. And when it comes to family member, as I said, that we see them, or we try to see them as devotees first, if they are devotees, and then my son, then my husband. And that way we try to serve, see through that. So it's a different perspective altogether, where the interactions will be different, the values will be different, the priorities will be different, right? So that is what is some understanding of it. Does that help you in any way?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, one more question. Prabhuji, like Kunti Maharani has all the sons are devotees. Then why she is, why she is saying that she wanna get rid of affection?
Yeah. So actually, this is what actually I was explaining in text 42, the link and explanation which Prabhupada gave. So she is telling that cut my family ties, affection. So affection has two aspects. One, affection is based on connection with body, like Arjuna is my son. So I have affection, and that is natural for a mother. It's not unnatural to have that. Or Yadus, to be father and relatives in the Dwarka. So that is all based on what? This body in this world. But so this part of affection is what she is asking. This part you cut. Although they are devotees, but my thinking about them as my son before seeing as your devotee. Let me have that affection cut. When I see them, first let's see them as your devotee, not as my son. So this is material part of affection. There is a spiritual affection which is through Krishna, seeing them as devotees first, and then okay, is my son. So that is what is, that's why she is saying that you cut. That's why Krishna is asking, Are, you want to cut the ties with devotees? And I am also Yadu, means you want to cut tie with me also, means you want to go to Brahman or what? That's what Vishwanath says. So she says, no, my lord, I don't want to say that. I want to cut the material part of affection. So conversely, if you see, Lord in 11 kind of Bhagavatam is telling Uddhava that, my dear Uddhava, you are most dear to me, not Lakshmi, nor Sankarshan, nor Shiva. So there, the Acharya has explained that why Lord is saying this to Uddhava is Lord loves devotees. Because Lakshmi and Sankarshan, they are all having some kind of official relation with the Lord. Whereas devotee like Uddhava is completely surrendered to Lord. We may not have such relation. So this is opposite of this. So that is the meaning of what she is exactly wanting to cut, the material side of affection. So if you see Prabhupada's purport, you will, like what we discussed, you can go through it once, it will be very clear. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, yesterday's question, Gadadhar.
I'm sorry, I could not get anything, Mataji. I will do the needful.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I just missed actually. Yes, Suryakant Krishna Prabhu.
Prabhuji, we have Gajendra's prayers where Gajendra is asking Lord to help him or rescue him in this critical situation. And we have Kunti Devi praying where she wants this calamity to come back again and again. So how do we understand the perspective? Because both are devotees.
So we have to first see, like recently, I think someone was asking to His Holiness Bhanu Maharaj also. about Gajendra and not Kunti, Draupadi. So Gajendra is actually a mixed devotee in the sense of when he approached the Lord. Because his background was, he was like an elephant. He was enjoying everything and all, right? And then because of his previous bhakti, he could remember the Lord after 1,000 years of fight, right? After that, not beginning. So he is Artha category Bhakta. But because of his previous devotional service, his aspiration during his prayers went to pure devotion. If you read his prayers carefully in 8.3, you will see that Ekantino hi yasya nakanchanartham vanchanti evai bhagavat prapanna atyadbhutam tacharitam sumangalam gayanta ananda samudramam. So when he's offering prayers also, he goes to pure devotion actually. He begins with Artha, but he kind of is progressing in his prayers actually, because he is not just doing bhakti now, he has done it before. Whereas if you see Draupadi, or in your case Kunti, so they are Nitya Siddha associates of Lord. So, and they are pure devotees of the Lord. So when they are asking for Vipadas, there is a different perspective to it. Like Draupadi, he was giving example of Draupadi. So Draupadi case is, she is Nitya Siddha, Bhakta of Lord. She has been doing devotional service before and after, right? So that's how she is acting as a instrument in Lord's pastime, Draupadi, or Kunti for that matter, in this particular setting which we have discussed. So we can see through that perspective that Lord is coming and teaching us, through their prayers. So Gajendra is like this and Kunti is like this. Does that make some sense to you?
So, Guruji, generally in South India, people generally recite Gajendra's prayers regularly. So, what we should read Gajendra's prayers, or?
Actually, what I remember is, I think Damodar month or Adhik Mas. I think Adhik Mas they are recommended Gajendra's prayers. So they are recommended, and I remember doing that when I was in Vella. We used to recite and read them. So there is no problem. The prayers are very, very beautiful. If you see his aspirations are very, very beautiful prayers of Gajendra. Because if you see Gajendra in like this elephant, then we'll have. But if you just see the bigger picture of Gajendra, then you go to Indradumna Maharaj. Right? So he had kingdom and he left. So reciting his prayers is very wonderful. There is no problem. And there are some recommendations also. Like, I think Adhik Mas, right? Am I right? In Adhik Mas, they are recommended to be recited.
Yes.
Yeah, and I do remember doing that. Yes?
Is it mean if we are not on the level of Kunti Maharani, means pure, then we will recite Gajendra prayers? It is for us.
Yeah, but are we on the level of Gajendra?
Kunti Maharani's prayers are on the higher platform actually.
Are you on
yeah.
the
No. Gajendra prayers makes devotee you are taking.
Yeah. So now we are going in another zone. See, one thing is to understand what is mixed devotee and what is pure devotee. So pure devotee doesn't mean necessarily that he has a pure heart, but he has pure faith in process of pure devotion. Like today's class, His Holiness Bhanu Maharaj was brilliantly explaining. So it is not that our heart is impure, we have material desires, so we cannot practice pure devotion. We can certainly practice pure devotion by developing pure faith. And coming to Gajendra, actually, Gajendra's praise, we are not even, I can say about myself, Gajendra is quite very, very exalted. We are not at that level of Gajendra also in that sense. So because his prayers are teaching us towards the end, as I quoted was Ekantino means pure devotion, Ekanta Bhakti. Means there is nothing else, like Tvai me Ananya Vishaya, that kind of. And he is telling that, sages can practice my Lord. I am in this elephant body, what I can do? I cannot practice even 64 angas in this particular body, but what I can do, I can offer a flower only. So like that is his mood. So very, very special mood. Whereas when it comes to Kunti Maharani's prayer, so you don't have to imitate that, like, asking for troubles. So I can tell that we are already having sufficient. So what is important is how we deal with them. Because she is not saying only one verse, right? There are so many previous and after verse. What is her aspiration? So we can certainly recite them. There is no problem. And we can mention that, my dear Lord, I don't want troubles. No problem. I have sufficient. Give me strength to deal with the troubles. And remember you and take your shelter. Maybe someday I may come to Kunti Maharani's by her mercy and your mercy. So we can surely recite her prayers, because Kunti Maharani's prayers are very profound in that sense. If you just objectively compare the content of it, so actually both are amazing, but these are like better.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes, anything else? Yes. Who is speaking?
Prabhuji, I have a question from OBA.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, in OBA, actually, this time our OBA is like question answer type. So we need to follow the same pattern. I mean, introduction, then.
Yeah, so can you just read or copy paste what is? I think it is about vision of Ved Vyas, if I am not wrong.
Yes, Prabhuji. Just a second. I can paste it.
So I believe there are 3 questions, I think. Right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
I don't know. These are MIH questions. They may appear to be little, I would say, not like confusing, but 3 distinctly they have asked questions, right?
Yes, just a second.
So if you just try to understand, you are putting, I'm just speaking some words, that if you just try to understand this verse number 4, 5, 6, 7, what is the content, what he saw, as we saw through PPT and everything. So you get a proper understanding of his vision in terms of Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana. Then it will be easy to present in the OBA. Yeah, so I think you are typing. I'll just check if it is. I think Anuj Prabhu had sent me also.
So just a second, I'll paste.
Yeah. Okay, this is gentle reminder.
So
that is different, no? Yeah, OBA question.
Yes.
3. Respond with a reference from Srimad Bhagavatam 4 to 8 verses and purports. What are important lessons one should learn from Srila Vedavasa's meditation on Supreme Lord? Yeah. So this is
actually they are like direct questions. So we need to write first introduction, then that's how we are.
Yeah, I understood your question. Your question is that should we answer 3 questions separately, or we should write introduction and all? So I'm just reading these 3 questions.
Conclusion also, and
yeah, I'll just read the 3 questions first. What are the important lessons one should learn from Vedavasa's meditation on the Supreme Lord? So this is a completely personal application part, right? Because it's our lesson. So you have to get some statements of Prabhupada's purport and mention few lessons as a separate answer for this. What did he conclude after having had vision of Lord? So that is his diagnosis and prescription. And why did Vaibhava decide to compile Srimad Bhagavatam? So, yes, Mataji, there can be three separate things in this. And if you want to say like introduction, or that can be like the summary of the entire 4 verses, what it is talking basically. That way it can be given, and then you go to the question. If that is done, it will be better. Giving a synopsis in maybe 3-4 lines, that what these verses are telling in terms of like Sambandha, Videya, Prayojana, or diagnosis, prescription, and so on, like that. So if you can write like that, that will be good because that's a summary, because that's the section, right? That's a common section for entire all 3 questions. So it will make sense. And then you answer in by one. Yes. Anything else? Anyone wants to clarify, ask?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have a question from chapter 6, close book question.
Text?
It's a close book question, chapter 6, and question number 5. What was Narada's material tent?
Actually, same question was asked by one, I think, Poonam Dusane Mata, if I am not wrong.
Yes,
can you
Prabhuji.
answer? Can you tell her the answer? Or where it is?
Prabhuji, actually, as such, I know the answer, but actually, Narada has no material desire. तो मतलब जो भगवान मतलब जो कृष्णा थे उन्होंने मतलब इसलिए बोला था कि वही उनका मतलब विनम्रता बढ़ाने के लिए.
Yeah, but that is there. But he exhibited something na, for teaching us. So it is mentioned what is the tent also. Avipakva kashayana. So what is that? Prabhupada explains in the purport. What is the text? Can you tell?
21.
Or Mataji, you want to say?
1.6.21.
Yeah. Mataji, you want to say what I had said that time?
Yes, Prabhuji, what I have remembered.
Yeah.
A person who is not in a mode of all those mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. So नारद मुनि जब बोले कि उनको फॉरेस्ट में रहना पड़ा, मतलब फॉरेस्ट में रहने के लिए वो गए just to distribute the Lord's mercy in the forest. So मतलब what I understood कि forest में रहना is also came into mode of goodness, and that is also kind of attachment. One should be completely free. So the living in the forest उसी point को थोड़ा elaborate करना है इस answer के लिए, जितना मुझे समझा. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
because living in the forest is also मतलब inhibition, मतलब काफी अच्छा रहता है वहां पे भी, ऐसा नहीं कि मतलब mode of goodness में ही आता है वो. So God want it is just above mode of goodness to be in a devotional service. तो वो एक material tent है, ऐसा है Prabhuji.
Yes. So Prabhupada writes that in purport. Exactly, you are perfectly right. So you can just refer to Prabhupada also says that in his purport that material injustice is to become free from mode of goodness also. To search the audience of God in lonely forest is considered to be in mode of goodness, Prabhupada says. So that is the tent which apparently he exhibited for us to learn. Naturally, it was not there in Narada because he got darshan of the Lord. But Lord is teaching us here through Narada by making him invisible. So
it is for 4 marks. This question is for 4 marks.
Okay, this is an elaborate question. So yeah, you can write the above and below the whole message that purification means purification not only for rajas and tamas, but also from goodness. Because taints are there in goodness also. Right? So if you just paraphrase what Prabhupada has written, it will have sufficient. So because that is what is mentioned here. What are the taints in Naradana? That's the question.
Prabhuji, translation, it is those who are incomplete in service. So that
Yes.
is one point, no?
Yeah, I was about to come to that also, because as you said that it is the bigger question. So these two aspects can be written. Second aspect also can be written. That there is kuyoginam, means there are not complete in service. So, but I believe that is not explained exactly. What is that incompleteness? But surely that is also another thing which should be mentioned. Sure.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, there is one more question from chapter 8. Explain the significance of, we don't understood the question itself. Explain the significance of Kunti Maharani, although Krishna's aunt, including the phrase Namo Namah. मतलब Namo Namah इस phrase को लेके कुंती महारानी को explain करना है या मतलब ये question ही है, मुझे समझा नहीं कि exactly क्या है ये.
Verse number, this first verse only?
1.8.21.
21, yeah. So she is Prabhupada writes, I think. I am just opening that. 1.8.21. Yeah. So you read again the question, significance of Kunti Maharani. What can you read again?
Yes, Prabhuji. Explain the significance of Kunti Maharani, although Krishna's aunt, including the phrase Namo Namaha in 1.8.21. 1 mark question, Prabhuji, only.
So,
Prabhuji, can it be like she's aunt and why she's doing Namo Namaha to her nephew? Is that maybe the answer?
That's what it is, I think, because Prabhupada writes in 4th line, if you see, Kunti specifically adores this incarnation of Lord Krishna above all other incarnations, and cause in this particular incarnation he is more approachable. Okay.
Kunti Maharani was aware that Krishna is the
He
original,
is Supreme Lord. Yeah.
although he was her nephew.
Yes, so that comes in actually 18th verse. If you see, Prabhupada writes there, this is significant. Yeah, but as that's what I also feel, that Namo Namaha is referring to 1 minute. See, 18th verse, these first 2-3 lines. Srimati Kunti was quite aware that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, although he was playing part of her nephew. Such enlightened lady could not commit mistake by offering obeisances to her nephew. So this is what I feel is the thing which is being expected there. So this offering obeisances to her nephew means this. So she is not committing a mistake there by culturally offering respects to someone who is apparently inferior in the sense of relationship. And I feel that will be sufficient because it's not an elaborate question.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. Okay, I think so. Sufficient discussion already. So all the best for your exam. I think it will be there in the next week. Next weekend it is there on Saturday. Or
yes,
Sunday?
Prabhuji. Sunday.
On Sunday it is there. No? So all the best for all your exams. And although it might be little austere for you, but please do continue and do give exams and continue studying Srimad Bhagavatam through this course. So Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. And if you need any help or any particular thing, as I have communicated to you earlier also, my number or mail ID is there, and I am available at your service regarding anything regarding Bhagavatam. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you,
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank His Grace Samarpan Go Prabhu for wonderfully explaining these Kunti Maharani prayers and the whole entire section of chapter 6 to chapter 8. So let us thank Prabhuji by loudly chanting. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you very much.
Namo Namaha.
So next Saturday we will have class on unit 4 will start. Sunday we will have exam for unit
Who
3.
is taking, who is continuing now? Next unit, Bhishma's beautiful
His
prayer.
Grace Sanatan Dharm Prabhu.
Hari Bol. Very amazing. Another devotee is coming. So, Bhishma Pitama prayers. All the best. Very nice. Sanatan Dhanpu is taking care of the entire center in Kharadi. And so you will get a chance to hear from him. So very wonderful. He has studied very beautifully Bhagavatam. So another wonderful flavor. You don't have to tolerate like as you did last few days. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Santara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hari Hari.
Hare
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can we end here or anything is there?
Prabhuji, just one question.
Yeah.
But you can stop recording if it is not.
Yes, not recording. Don't record.